Good afternoon, everybody. This is Lee Strauss for Element 115 and Spaced Out Radio. Welcome to the show. Everybody, I just want to let you know right off the bat that Jackie Harmon is not here tonight, but we do have a special guest. Craig Yahne is in the house, and he is the founder of Pacific Northwest Squatchers Research Group. And we're going to learn more about him and what he has found and the stuff that he does in the field here in Washington State tonight. So I'm going to start welcoming everybody in. We got Deidre C in the house. We got Cosmic Joe. We got Area 51, who won the swag last week, and it has been sent to him. Yeah, that was pretty awesome show there. Melvin WD40's in the house. We got Deb from SAC. We got T-Bone here. Let's see who else is in here. I'm sure more of you will be popping on here in like crazy. We got the Radio Wendigo. Yep, Eternity Eternal. Richard. All right, guys, welcome to the show. And I'm going to start it off right here. And let's go ahead and click on our intro, and then we'll get right in with Craig. All right, here we are. So, Craig, I've known you for quite a while, maybe 6 years or so. And, I've always reached out to you about the Bigfoot sort of thing and the paranormal and when it came to UFOs and all of that sort of stuff too. Not just based on my own experiences, but when I needed to know more, I did contact you about Bigfoot, and I'd like you to get into it tonight and tell everybody what you know, what you've seen here in Washington State, and what you do. So why don't you give us a short little intro?
Well, first, I'd like to thank you for having me on board with Spaced Out Radio and Element 115, Lee. It's really cool. Yeah, I consider you a great friend and invited you to Squatch Fest. I've been the host for Squatch Fest for over 6 years, going on 7. And it's going to be, I think we're at 9 now coming up. So it's been a great run, and I really do enjoy doing that. The Squatch research. I've been into paranormal activity, UFOs and the Sasquatch thing for quite some time, probably all the way back till when I was like 17, 16, 17. With my granddad and my father. They were avid hunters and fishermen, and they took me out and talked to me and showed me Patty film way back in 1967. That's, Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin down in Bluff Creek. So I kind of had a little bit of, introduction back then to it. But my real big thing happened with my cousin. His dad was a fisherman on the Elwha River system over in the Olympics. And he would take people out and they would go out and do real professional fishing and getting salmon and stuff like that. And they had something happen to him over there, got me really interested in it. So during college, I was just like, wow, I'm going to get involved into this as something that's been a calling. I went to Squatch Fest and watched it one time, and I was like, wow, I got to figure out a way to get involved. And so I volunteered actually as a volunteer and kind of worked my way in and up through that with Amy Halleck. And I'd like to give a shout out to her for that as well. Thank you, Amy, for allowing me to do that. And so it's been a great run, I have my own research group called the Pacific Northwest Sasquatch Research Group. It's on Facebook, and I do stuff on YouTube. I have my own YouTube channel on YouTube. It's called Craig Yahne. So if you just go there and click on it, I post all kinds of different stuff. I'm a coach. I'm a cameraman. I'm a professional cameraman. So I'm still waiting to get that great footage. So if anybody has a hot spot and they need somebody like me and Lee to come out and go do some investigation, I'll call you up and we'll get in the vehicles and go out there and chase it down, because that's what we do. We're boots on the ground guys, and we actually still go out and do it. I know you're an avid researcher. You do the UFO thing real hard and you do the Sasquatch thing real hard. And I'm getting into the UFO thing. So I'm kind of mixing both together. Then for the rest of my life, I'm just going to do both. So I really am super interested in, the UFO phenomena and Sasquatch. So it's really a big passion I enjoy doing. I have a DJI drone, 4K drone. I got 2 4K cameras. I got game cams. I got e-bikes. I just picked up some e-bikes, so I'm using those full suspension e-bikes. Actually, I got to get you out. That reminded me. We're going to go out, so I'll take you out. We'll grab the bikes and go out and do some researching, hopefully this winter. That would be fun.
So what's the thought behind the e-bikes and what you might be able to capture just using those?
Well, I think with that, we're gonna hook up and meet, and they got lights. We'll bring flashlights, super bright lights. We'll be able to ride. We can go far distances. When you're just hiking, you just happen to have, only one access road, the trail that you're on, or you make a trail like kind of what you and me do when we go out. But the thing about the e-bikes is you can get on trails that have roads that have, that have been logged on, and you can't go up on them because there's just a road and it takes forever to get out there. But on an e-bike, you can get on one and you can get out 40, 50 miles and turn around and come back and still have, a lot of energy left on your e-bike. It allows you to get farther out and away from, traffic and stuff like that. Not to say that that's really going to help, but that's my idea, is the farther away you are from, mainland, the better I think your chances are that you're going to see something. And I'm sure people would disagree with that because everybody's had different experiences with Sasquatch.
Yeah. A lot of people have seen them, almost in town, right in their backyards. But
absolutely, yeah, for sure.
If you think about like the family network of Bigfoot, their group or their family might be out farther away from people, and then they just make small trips in to grab fruit from trees or whatever that may be, and then take it back. So yeah, Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. And the other thing, you're not pedaling this bike, right? So it's basically pretty quiet.
Super stealthy. Yeah, that's the whole idea, is that we would take the drones, we take our cameras, and we go out. We'll have a base camp. We'll set up a base camp like where I took you. I won't mention the area, but I took you to a couple of really good spots, and those areas have had Sasquatch interaction. There's reports on the BFRO about it. And that's the thing, the big thing is my idea is just to keep going back to areas where there's been activity. And I'll give examples of that. Michael Freeman's dad, he was the one who got the Blue Ridge Sasquatch. Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin, Bluff Creek, they've had activity in their area, and they just kept going back to the areas where there was footprints and there was evidence. And that's my idea too, as well, is that why change anything? You use the same blueprint, and then you were able to get into areas. Ron Moorhead went back to the Sierra Nevada mountains multiple times, got audio vocalizations, got actual visual sightings, and wasn't able to capture footage because they were super fast and stealthy, and it was a lot of the time it was nighttime when they were having interactions. But during the daytime, like with Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin and Michael Freeman's dad, Paul, those guys were in the daytimes getting evidence. So it's definitely something that has to be done at the right time, at the specific time, that there's something going on where they're, like you said, where they're trying to get food, or maybe they're trying to raise their families, or they're in an area where they are, they're traveling or something's going on where people happen to be at the right place at the right time. And that's what's causing these interactions with humans and the Sasquatch clans. I'm going to use the word clans, and that just means multiple Sasquatch.
Yeah. I agree with that. I'm wondering, have you captured any vocalizations or any video?
Yeah, actually I have. So it wasn't sightings. It was definitely audio vocalizations. Me and my dog Ruby, bless her heart, she's passed. But she was a wolf hybrid, husky, Siberian husky wolf hybrid. And I took her up to the area. I took you, and we set up camp. I took my Volkswagen camper van. It's a Westphalia camper van, 1983 pop top. It's got a stove and a refrigerator. We set up, grabbed a 6-pack of beer, brought some steak, set up fire, set up the camp, set up the game cams, and we just hung out, and I played music. And that was my idea. I was just going to try to interact with me and the dog and whatever was out in the woods. And obviously we attracted something because my dog kept growling. And so I have uploaded that video on my YouTube channel, and I'm actually going to go through it and edit it and make it a little bit better. But I actually have the raw footage uploaded. So if people were interested and they wanted to go see it, they could go to my channel, Craig Yahne at yahoo.com, and just go check it out. But the thing is that what happened is she kept growling, and I kept, what are you hearing? What are you hearing? And we just kept looking into the area, and she actually went over towards the brush and was just getting really, really, ears up, tail down between the legs, and the rumbling, growling noise coming out of her throat. And something happened that night, and I recorded it, and you can tell that something was going on. And so the next day, we went over to this giant pond. There's a giant pond. I haven't taken you to it, but we were going to do it that one day, but we just haven't had the chance to go over there yet. But there's a giant pond right next to this giant river. And so this pond has had multiple incidents happen, tree knocking, audio vocalizations. So when we were coming out of the pond area, I heard 3 really loud audio vocalizations. And so I went back, and I had my drone with me, and I set my drone up and flew it around, but I didn't get anything. And so I'm still going back to this area. And I have to say something really weird happened one time. I did set up game cam on trees, and I pointed my 2 game cams towards this pumpkin and these apples I had set up as food gifting items. And they captured orbs and some other weird beams of light and these other weird looking, a square porthole type looking thing. And I'm going to have to show it to you, but it's on my film documentary that I'm doing, and it's the B-roll, and I haven't done narrative yet. So it's just kind of like in a 17-minute teaser setup. It's kind of like my teaser right now. So I'm trying to raise more money to go over to Idaho and interview Jeff Meldrum, go down to Oregon and meet with Cliff Barrickman because he said he would like to be in it, and then grab some other people that I'm going to try and hook up with and interview them. But that way I can finish my documentary. But I just think that this whole orbs and light beams of light and all this weird other stuff that happened in this one area, but I want to take you there and set them up. And it happened in October, right on my birthday. October 10th was my birthday, which was just yesterday. So 10/10 was, hey, thanks, Lee. Appreciate that. So I want to go back up there with pumpkins and some apples and go back in there, set the game cams up. If you want to bring your game cams, we can go just put a plethora of game cams up, set up this area, and try to shoot redo the same scenario that happened on my footage that I got on my game cams. There's been thousands of pictures taken with nothing on them, but I did get something happen 2 days in a row. It was on the 15th and the 16th, full days with these orbs and beams of light and some other weird stuff that happened. And you know, where we went is, I think it's like round trip, it's almost 85 miles away where I took you. So from where, and for where you're coming, it's got to be 100. So we're
it's far out there.
You're pretty far, you know, you're down by Tacoma, right?
Yeah, I'm in Tacoma, sort of, kind of.
Yeah, and I'm up north. So we're pretty far away from the North Cascades where we go to the areas where we're heading to. So, you know, I think that's the big thing is getting out into the raw footage, you know, out there in the raw forest lands with the mountains and the rivers and the ponds, and we'll get something. Something's going to happen.
You know, that reminds me, we set up some game cameras in the river there, not far from that location before. You and I did. And, you know, we had put out gifting. We were gifting apples. And, you know, the apples disappeared. There was nothing on the cameras at all. You couldn't see anything taking the apples. There was no movement except for the snow a couple of times and maybe a wiggling branch, you know, and that was it. That's all I got, which wild.
That is wild, because that's what happened with my apples and my pumpkin is they disappeared, and there's nothing on the footage other than the next couple days, these orbs and these beams of light. And the funny thing is I shot an email off to the Skinwalker Ranch and took some still photos and included them in the, like, I included 5 pictures, 5 frames, each frame. And I took photos of them and sent them over to them. And they said, these are the exact same things that are happening at the Skinwalker Ranch. Keep doing what you're doing. And then I sent one to NIDS, National Institute for the Discovery of Science. And I didn't hear back from them, but I'm sure if I can reduplicate what happened, you know, with new cameras, like reset them up and redo the thing and possibly get something else that's going on over there. I don't know what it'll be, but I would like to try to get back out there here within the next few weeks before winter really slams in there. Usually it doesn't get really heavy in snow until, like, I want to say December and January, but you know, the whole month of October is a beautiful time to go because the leaves are changing colors. The Sasquatches are coming out of the mountains. They're coming down closer to the rivers where the food is. The deers are coming out of the high areas and they're coming down and they're getting ready for winter. So there's got to be a lot of movement going on with the wild animals because they got to get a lot of food right now and get ready for winter. So that's going to pull the Squatches out of the mountains. And I mean, if you're a researcher, you need to know these things and get out there and get ready for it. And a lot of people say game cams don't work, but contrary to the belief, there is a lot of footage out there with something on the game cam, especially in hot spot areas. And that's one of the things that I have learned after 7 years of doing Squatch Fest and hosting and talking to lots of different researchers is that their game cams, you're going to use every single tool available to us, whether it be e-bikes, game cams, video cams, drones, going out and doing your own thing like what you're doing. You're bringing in tools like, you know, your high frequency audio recording devices and some of your cameras that you have, the super expensive ones. Those are great tools to have, man.
Yeah.
Infrared.
They are. And it takes a while to amass the kind of gear that I've amassed, but it all comes in handy.
Yeah.
It really does. And it's the tool that you don't take out of the case and that you don't use. That's the tool that you would have caught something on. I guarantee you. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely. Yeah.
you really try to use everything that you have in your wheelhouse, right?
I do, totally. That's why I try to get you to come, with me, and I try to go with you, due to work. You work Monday through Friday. I work Monday through Sundays. Sometimes I'm working the Seahawks, and I can't get out in a way because I'm a freelance cameraman professional. And so CBS or Fox will call me, or I'll work on some films. I've actually made some connections where I'm going to be working on films here pretty soon. So I'm looking forward to doing some of that through some of my friends here in Seattle. We're going to start doing some really big stuff the next few years. I can't really talk about it right now, but when it starts happening, I'd like to try to get you involved as well, so we can start doing some, UFO I-team research, some real stuff. I mean, some really, really good stuff. That was kind of a plug for Michael and me and you. But I mean, it was a fun thing. You learned a lot, and
Oh, yeah.
it's that's something that we should continue to do, because really, to get down to the bottom of research and science and the study of the unknown and the unexplained is you have to be very dedicated to it. It costs money, it costs time. And that's what's happening right now with us. It's costing us money and time to get out there and do this stuff. Hey, we got some people chiming in right there. I can't read that. Yeah. Why don't you mention some of their names? Say hi to them for us. Thanks for chiming in, you guys. Appreciate that.
Deb from Sac, thank you very much for that $5.
There you go.
Appreciate that. Wow. Yeah, it's awesome.
Donating money. Thank you.
Yep. Dave appreciates it. He keeps this going out here. So we
yes, sir. That's right. Good love. Good love.
Anyway, so you were talking about the orbs and the light beam and that sort of thing. Does any of that correlate with Bigfoot in some way?
I mean, let's talk about the woo there. That's going to get it.
And you've been mostly a flesh and blood, Bigfoot guy for so long. And now things are starting to change. Is that correct?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Yeah. After talking to Ron Moorhead, hey, Ron, if you're watching, thanks for watching Lee and me. I'm going to plug Ron Moorhead here. I'm a big fan of him. I got to know him. We were really close friends. My auntie lived up in Squim. Ron lived in Squim for quite a while. I've done 2 interviews with him, so I'm sitting on interviews with him, and I've talked to him over and over and over for a long time. And I am open-minded now. I'm quantum physics. I love science. I'm a big fan of that. The thing for me, Lee, is portholes and stuff like that. I would like to see more evidence of it. Not to say that I don't believe it. I'm open-minded to it. And talking to the guys from Skinwalker Ranch and NIDS, hopefully they'll reach out to me and they can explain some more of this stuff. But I've been studying it on my own and reading up on it and listening to a lot of different shows on YouTube. There's a lot of good channels on that. So I think, yeah, I mean, if we find somebody who has evidence and who can take us to some, and I know, and there's another guy I can mention here. It's David Paulides. I've talked to him and I've watched some of his videos, and he mentioned this one specific guy. I'll just mention it really quick and short and quick. Is a hunter man, and he was hunting up in the mountains, up high. He was up high, 6,000, 7,000 feet hunting, and he came across a porthole, and he either went through it and something happened and he was able to come back out of it, and it dazed and confused him. And he had never done that. He had been a hunter for 35, 40 years, and nothing ever happened to him like that before. And it was just the weirdest thing in the world that happened to him. And there's evidence of that all over in books, in other videos and pictures, and people talk about it all the time. And so what the heck, man, something's going on. We don't know what it is. There's ley lines on the earth. There's evidence of that. Stonehenge and the pyramids and the star systems of Orion, the Orion's belts is lined up. And there's just more and more history of ancient civilizations and all that. So yeah, I'm on the cusp now. I went from flesh and blood to open-minded researcher here. Yeah, for sure. No doubt. Yep.
We got a question here. Is Sasquatch an ET?
No.
No.
That's my opinion. No.
Yeah, that's your opinion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's neither here nor there. We don't know yet, but
yeah, I will elaborate a little bit. And the reason why it could be, let me change that a little bit. It could be, there's been people to claim that every time they've seen UFOs in the sky, that there's been Sasquatch sightings close by and around. And Ron will talk about that. So I kind of want to elaborate a little bit on that. I think if Sasquatch can leave footprints, and Paul Freeman has a ton of them, and Bob Gimlin and Roger Patterson got from Jerry Crew, got a phone call, said, hey, we found 27 footprints. I think that's what Bob Gimlin told me one time, or more. There could have been more. And they tracked them and followed them on a one-way highway. The Jerry Crew was building. And so this is the reason why they got the Sasquatch. So my theory is that if Sasquatch is able to leave footprints in the mud and dirt and snow, it's definitely a heavyweight type of being of some sort. Not to say that it can't cloak, not to say that it couldn't go up inside a UFO, because obviously UFOs picked up, who was the guy from Fire in the Sky? Travis Walton. Travis Walton, I met him and talked to him personally, and he told me exactly what happened with him and that whole thing. And he was picked up and taken inside a UFO. And there's other evidence, Betty and Barney Hill. So, yeah, we don't know. So let's leave it at that. Let's just say, I kind of going to change my tune there a little bit again. I don't know what it is, so I can't say it is or it isn't. So I'm going to go back on what I said there. I'm going to change that a little bit, just because that's how I roll. If I think about it a little bit longer and a little bit harder, I'm kind of turning more towards that, whole quantum physics side again. Yeah, we don't know. And that's why we have your show, Element 115, because this is where we can talk about stuff like this and we can vet it out. The more we vet, the more evidence we get, the better, the closer we get to the answer.
That's correct. We're pulling in information from some of the biggest Bigfoot researchers out there. I mean, you've talked to most of them, if not the majority of them, right?
I would have to say, just about every single one that has came to Squatch Fest, and people have come up to me, even though they didn't want to be up on stage during the public forum when we have that, and they come up and talk to me afterwards, and they say, hey, I want to share this thing happened to me, but I don't want to tell everybody here because I feel embarrassed about it. And you know how many times that has happened to me? Probably over a couple hundred times, really, out of the 10 years that I've done this. It's an amazing amount of people.
Right. Yeah, that's plays a big part in it, the stigma that's behind all this stuff, and it's sad that it has to be that way. It's quite unfortunate.
Yeah, but I think what you're doing and what I'm trying to do, and you're doing it right now with your show here, is that the more we do this, the more we have this happen, and the more technology is used, the more we can connect the A and the B and the C dots together. That chain of learning and experiencing and coming together as a team. And I've always said that at Squatch Fest, even though there's been I saw people shaking their head, when I'm up on stage talking about it. I believe the more we as a group of people come together and share our information, and not saying that your personal information with Sasquatch, you can keep that to yourselves, but if you can share a little bit of your experience of what happened, We can learn from that, all of us. And then maybe we can, as a group, as a team, we can find out what's really going on with ETs and Sasquatch and skinwalkers and whatever else is out there, the dogmen. And, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of scary ones, but there's also probably a lot of friendly ones. Like I've met people who've claimed to have had both experiences. So, I haven't seen a gray. I can't say what my experience would be with a gray, but from what Travis Walton told me, I'm going to be really apprehensive about going for a ride. I mean,
I would say,
if I was, do you know who Billy Meyer is from Switzerland?
Yep.
Well, he had a friendly encounter, according to what he said. And if his interaction with, if his interactions with his experience with his ETs were friendly, and the Semyazis, there was a female and somebody else, and they had a real positive encounter. I haven't had that encounter yet, and I know you have, but you could probably elaborate on that as well. But I haven't had that yet.
Well, anyway, we got this question here, and okay. So what is a never do while dealing with Sasquatch? What would you never want to do?
Wow. Great question. What would I never do? Okay, I got it. I'm not going to be that guy that runs up to Sasquatch and try to pick a fight.
Yeah, definitely not.
Not going to happen. No.
But you have said that you would run near Sasquatch with a camera on your shoulder.
Wow, you have a great memory. Yeah, I will take one for the team. Yeah.
Might be your last one for the team.
Hey, that's my calling, bro. You know, I just had a birthday, October 10th, so I'm older now. So yeah, I'm still going to take one for the team. That's what a cameraman does, Lee. A cameraman goes for the action shot. And if I can get the Emmy, here's my theory on that. If I can get the Golden Emmy Award for the cameraman DP shot of the year, chasing a Sasquatch and getting a clear video shot all the way head to toe, no mask, no suit, real life muscle shots, Sasquatch up close, clear definition video. And all the people who are the naysayers say, no, that's not a real Sasquatch. But you know what? If it's close, less than 25 yards away, you're going to see some really good shit. Sorry, excuse my language.
Yeah, we can't do that.
You know,
okay.
You're going to see some good stuff, man. Really good.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Never sing karaoke to a Sasquatch. Deb from Sac gave us another $5. Thank you very much, Deb. We appreciate that.
Awesome.
Very much. And oh, by the way, let me just swing back on this. Jackie's really sorry that she can't be here. She had an event that she had to do tonight. But she said she loved you all and misses you all, and she'll be back next.
Thank you. Thank you.
You too. Anyway, so with those orbs and that light that you saw, I'm gonna circle back on this a little bit. With that stuff that you saw, do you think that maybe Sasquatch can transform into these orbs? Or what is your thought there?
You know, I don't know. I think orbs, and we've met the orb lady from Mount Baker, who's got gazillions and gazillions of orb pictures. And she told me they're interdimensional transformational orbs. And these could be spirits of people from all the past people, from ancient times all the way up to now. And that's a good analogy. I don't know what they are, but I can tell you that if you study orbs, and I'm not saying all orbs are orbs, I'm just, there's definitely dust particles and blah, 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 and all that other stuff. But there's definitely orbs out there with faces in them and other stuff like that. And the orbs I got definitely have that. And they're ginormous orbs. They're not these small, tiny ones. I have ones that are the size of grapefruits, maybe bigger. Gotcha. And there's two of them side by side. And make the circle with my hand. They're probably that big around, at least this big around, as big as my head for sure,
Yeah.
And there's two of them side by side, and they're moving, and the game can's got them right here, and then they're over here, and then they're over there, and they're moving through the frame shot like that. Click, 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 click. And my camera rapid fired when that happened, and it's definitely something. And what color are they? They're kind of a yellow, golden, whitish color, golden yellow, whitish color, almost like an opaque color. Almost, it's kind of like the wall behind me. You see that yellow orb? Like that color. That's the kind of color they were, and everything else in the picture is all white because it's nighttime. It's the light flashed on, so it's kind of a black and white looking photo, even though it's a color picture. But the color came out. The colors came out in the orbs, but it didn't get that because the flash colored was white light, so everything behind it was all kind of like a nighttime shot. It's kind of hard to explain, but yeah.
Let me ask you a question that Dave asked me about Sasquatch, because I didn't have an answer for this.
Okay.
But with these portals, how do you think Sasquatch manifests a portal to slip through?
Great question. So there's ley lines on the earth, and there's pathways and doorways on the earth, and when you walk through one, that's where the porthole is. And if your technology is good enough to move them around Star Trek like, that would be one way. But on Earth, I think there's doorways that are here permanently. Like this is what I've been told. And I don't want to actually use people's names or anything like that for this, because that's putting people in the hot seat, and I don't like to do that. So, but from what I've been told, and multiple people have told me that, not just one person. We're talking at least 20 to 30 people, that there are ley lines that have portholes on them in different areas in every state, in every country, in every place on planet Earth. And it's just finding the right one at the right time.
Yeah. I can see that, maybe with high concentrations of quartz and different metals and that sort of thing.
Absolutely. There you go. That's exactly what's causing it. They're electromagnetic, and what happens is the compounds from the earth and the quartz and all the different metals and stuff are activated through that. And you just happen to be walking through when it's active, and boom, there you go. You're gone.
Right.
And then if you find your way back.
Somehow the Sasquatch can sense where they may be with some ability.
Here's the deal with Sasquatch. If they're using them, and there's a good high possibility that's happening, is that they're able to activate them, and they know how to run them. And we don't yet, because actually we haven't met somebody who knows how to activate. We've met people who've claimed to have gone through them, and there's even a guy on YouTube. You can watch it. He met himself in the future, and he went through his cupboard in his kitchen through his sink. He came home from work, and there was a big, huge puddle under his sink near his cabinet, and there was water coming out. So he opened up the doors on the cabinet and crawled in through to fix the pipe. And the door the area just kept going and going and going. And he just walked right through it. All the way through, and came out on the other side, and he was on the ground, and he used his phone to videotape meeting himself. He met himself in the future, and he has a tattoo on his arm, and the guy who was standing next to him showed the same tattoo. It's the coolest video I've ever seen, and that's just one of them. But not to say that it couldn't have been fake. It could have been faked, but it seems to me that everybody who's watched it, who's chimed in on about it, has pretty much legitimized it. But not to say that it still could be fake. We could have got duped, but we don't know.
Exactly. It's hard to tell anymore, really. One of my theories that I've held is that the way Sasquatch could possibly be moving through, portals or creating portals is through infrasound or ultrasound. Since they have such a wide vocal range, You know, even for us to feel fear in an area, and you know, quite possibly that fear that we feel is from Sasquatch, you know, emanating this infrasound.
I think that's a hunting tool or a
Okay.
freezing tool. Yeah, or a freezing tool. Like I met a guy at Squatch Fest who approached me afterwards, who was a hunter for 35 years, military guy, ex-military guy. He was a ranger in the special forces, and he was out hunting in a tree, deer stand 25 feet in the air, and a Sasquatch snuck up behind him and jumped out of the tree and landed right below him. He was in fatigues, full ghillie suit, everything, totally masking the tree and the leaves and everything. It was in the wintertime. And this thing put its arms up really high, looked straight up at him, and gave him the largest infrasound scream you could ever feel. He said it shocked him. The noise was so loud and the scream was so intense that he couldn't even pull the trigger on his gun. And he started crying right when it happened.
Wow.
He said the thing bellowed at him so loud like an elephant. Just imagine being underneath an elephant, and the elephant takes its trunk and it just pushes it right close to your chest and gives you the biggest, loudest blast you've ever had. Imagine a Sasquatch doing that. He said it was a male Sasquatch, and he said he would never go back into the woods, and he hasn't. And I've been waiting for him to come back to me at Squatch Fest and talk to me again about it, because I said, could you please come back and talk to me? And if you ever want to take me out to this area where this happened at, I would love to go. And so I've been waiting every year. I've been looking for this guy. He was a hunter who came in and told me that story. But when he told me that story, he was tearing in the corner of his eye when he told that to me.
Oh, yeah.
And when that happens, I can tell you the guy was not full of shit. He wasn't BSing me, man. He was telling me the truth. Sorry. Sorry. He wasn't BSing me at all, man. It was the coolest thing ever, man. It was really cool.
That's wild. That's why he's tearing up, because he'll never forget it. And it's, you know, in his psyche now, you know.
Yeah.
And so those.
I promise not to swear again.
Please. Yeah. Anyway, I just want to say, you guys, if you've got questions, please write them in all caps on the right-hand side there for me, so that I can see them and get them up in front of Craig and myself. Okay. Appreciate
awesome.
That. I appreciate that. So what are your plans for the future here, Craig? What do you got going on? Are you going to do this upcoming Squatch Fest as well? Are you going to be there for that?
Yeah, I got invited to come back and do it again, and I'm looking forward to it. Things are changing up a little bit down there. They have a couple of new people coming in, and they get to try what I established a long time ago. And it'll be interesting to see how that rolls. I heard Jeff Meldrum's not going to be there, and I kind of missed that. You know, He had been there every single time since day one. And Cliff Barrickman's going to be there. Shane Corson is going to be there. Amy Bew, Matt Pruitt, and and there's another guy. Tyler Bounds is going to be there, and a new guy from New York who's a producer and a TV filmmaker. A big name guy that I had not heard of from before. I don't want to try to pronounce his name because I don't want to get it wrong. But if you want to come down and check it out, please do. I'm doing the Sasquatch calling contest. I'm doing Squatch and Talk, which is the community public speaking forum. And we're going to have a little bit of a different setup this year, which we tried before and it didn't work. So it'll be interesting to see how she gets this organized to make it work. I don't know if it will or won't. It's just one of those scenarios where somebody comes in new and they want to try to do something different. That's okay. I'm okay with that because we are in a changing times and a formula right now. So I'm hoping for the best of it, and I'm looking forward to being there and making it work really well and trying to get everybody pumped up and excited again for some more new stuff that's going to be happening. Also, I just want to mention one thing that I can't say when, but there's going to be a Sasquatch conference in northern Seattle here within the next year or two, and I'm involved with that. So that's kind of on the making right now. I'm not going to say any more than that because I don't want to jinx anything or, cause any issues there. But keep your eyes and ears posted here at Element 115. I'll let you know right as soon as possible as things get dialed in. I'll also be mentioning that on my channel and my YouTube channel. I'm working on my documentary. I'm trying to wrap that up. I just need to do interviews. I've got a lot of B footage, but I definitely want to go out and do the e-bike thing and spend some night time out with maybe you or somebody else who wants to go out and shoot some really cool footage. Because like when you go out, you go all night, and I haven't done that yet. So I've always gone out, and I usually end up going to sleep like around 2 or 3 in the morning. But this time I'm going to go out, stay up, and I'm going to ride my bike around. I want to go up high though, and I know you like to do that, but I think I'll do is set up a base camp and bring some people just to hang out at the base camp while maybe we can go up somewhere high on the bikes and go out and shoot, or maybe we'll just drive up as far as we can. Maybe we'll find a cool spot that you know of where we can go and set up some really good footage and get some nighttime sky footage also, and I want to do that music blasting thing again. This time I'm going to use Ron Moorhead's audio vocalizations on my ghetto blaster, and I'm going to use that to call him because I asked permission from him to do it, and he says, "Are you sure you want to do that?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So it's something we could do,
We did that at Mount Adams.
Okay.
And we got stuff happening. Well, you don't know the whole story, but I'm going to have to send you that link to that show we did. Yeah, that was some crazy stuff.
We got to try it again. Definitely.
Definitely. I'm definitely down for that. But Craig, I want to know from you, if you had the most ultimate piece of gear that you could possibly think of to find Sasquatch, what would it be?
If I had the money, I'm going to go for the infrared drone that I saw that can fly for 45 minutes. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So you're talking, putting
military
an infrared camera.
Yeah. Military
on
style drone. Yeah. It's a big one. It's a 6-bladed octocopter, and it's got a ginormous battery. I mean, and if you know, it's almost a battery like one on an e-bike. They're ginormous. They're huge. And I saw the drone up close, and it was one of these guys that I know who has it, and he's using it for films, and they use them on big budget films, like making $100 million films and stuff like that. And they have these new drones out that are just so amazing. And man, if you can get one up in a hot spot, let's just say we go out and we find a hot spot. I'm going to use an example. Let's say we go over to the Olympics and we're over by Lake Quinault, and there's a campground all the way up in the back. And there's been lots of audio vocalizations recorded in this area. Even Finding Bigfoot went there, and also Bigfoot Expedition went into that area. And those guys went over there, and they had stuff happen. So the thing is you don't want to just send the drone up one time. You want to set the drone up a lot of times. You want to keep doing the audio vocalization, maybe tree knocks, blasting with Ron Moorhead's vocalizations. You just want to keep going at it. And you want to bug these things enough to where they come in, and then you send that thing up. And then what you're going to do is you're going to have people in various areas with tripwires set up. So you'll have the drone in the air tracking them, and then you need to set up tripwires that send signals off that'll relay the signal back to where the tripwire set off the beeping noise. And that means that something's moving through that corridor right there. And that's how you're going to get closer and closer to them.
Yeah. So I want to get back into the evidence that you may have captured or gathered along the way. Have you ever seen, because I saw this come up on the side over here, have you ever seen where the footprints just, are going along and then they just stop and disappear.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. Snow and sand, both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that ties in for me. That ties right back into that whole portal thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Big
Right.
time. Yeah.
So
Or a UFO picked them up, right?
yeah,
Jeez, who knows? We don't know.
exactly. We don't know.
Shape
But
shifter. Here's another thing. Think about this: shape shifting.
oh,
Because the shapeshifters from the indigenous tribes all over worldwide talk about that. A
is that like
shapeshifter can change into anything. They
right?
can get into to a bird. They can a giant. There's a thing called a thunderbird
Right.
that
Mhm.
is just a big, ginormous bird. Um, and natives talk about all these different wild animals that shapeshift.
Mhm.
That's the coolest thing in ever, though, is that you're following a trackway, like the one in Spokane. This guy sent me pictures of it, and he tracked one for 2.5 miles through a farmland that came from an area where he knew these things were on this farmer's property, and they were collecting a bunch of dead animals or apples or who knows what they were doing. I'm speculating. They were on there, and they found the trackway, and they tracked this trackway for 2 miles, and it stopped, and it went up this embankment and just stopped. Both feet, left and right feet, left and right, left and right, left and right for 2 miles. Huge steps, probably 57 inches, maybe longer at some point. And that the guy kept going and going and going, and then it stopped. And he was like, I'm not going to go any farther. There's no reason to, because I don't know where it's going. So he turned around and came back, and then he reported it. And then he sent a link to me, and I checked it out, and I said, hey, come to Squatch Fest and let's talk about this, because I want to get you up on stage. And he didn't want to do it. He didn't want to. And I get it. I mean, there's people in society who have done research and stuff like this. And then if you start talking about, portholes and time travel and Sasquatch and UFOs and aliens, and your job is involved in some big company, like me, like I'm in with CBS and Fox and stuff like that, I got to be really careful about what I'm doing. You just got to make sure that you're covered yourself. So I really am reluctant, that's why I'm still the flesh and blood guy. And I haven't really gone too far. Usually I only go this far with you or somebody else like Ron. We've sat down and talked, and I've done it on video and tape, and I'm okay with it, but I want everybody to know I'm still on the cusp. You haven't convinced me yet. So if you do have evidence, please contact me and Lee, and we will go out there and research it and find out what's going on, because everybody wants to know, and we're the boots on the ground guys that will do it. I'm serious about that. I will go out with my camera and chase a Sasquatch if I have to, or even a UFO. I will. I'll go for it, man. Please be nice to me.
There you go. We got a question here.
Okay.
Polly's asking, have you ever heard about the connection between Bigfoot and owls?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, there's a guy named. Yeah, we did. Remember the one we had?
Yeah.
I'll tell that story if you want. So me and Lee were shooting a film called The UFO I Team, and we went up to Mount Baker, Chair 9 area. If you guys know where that is, who are skiers and stuff. We got out there, and we wanted to do a night scene shot with Lee, and Anders came along, and I can't remember the lady's name. She was there, and one of my friends, Mike Thompson, who's passed away, rest in peace, brother, and is an editor and a cameraman for Victory Studios, a big production house in Seattle. That's where I met him. And we went out, and I brought Ruby, my dog, and I told Lee and Anders and the lady and Mike, I said, hey, I'm going to go down in the corner, and I'm going to scream as loud as I possibly can. This is nighttime. I think it was 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, something like that. And the clouds were going by. The clouds were zipping by, and you're like, I'm going to try and get a clear shot of the stars and whatever I can in the sky. And we just want to shoot this scene here. And
Right.
I said, well, I'm going to go over the corner and I'm going to scream Sasquatch. Just give my biggest, best Sasquatch yell ever. After practicing all these Sasquatch shows and stuff, I got pretty good at screaming Sasquatch. So I went out and gave it my biggest, loudest scream ever. And Ruby's ears went up. And I'm like, I waited 4 or 5 minutes before I came back to you guys, and I didn't hear nothing. It was dead quiet. I mean, like, no noise at all. Eerily quiet. It got super quiet. So I came back, and you guys started joking with me. Yeah, no such thing as Sasquatch. Or somebody said that. And then also, it wasn't you, no, but somebody was joking about it. And they're like, there's no Sasquatch going to scream back or something like that. Yeah. And bang, it happened.
It sounded like an owl. It was like, whoo,
yeah,
whoo, whoo, and it just went into this huge howl. It was just like,
yeah, it did the hoo thing first, and then it let out the big, giant, enormous, like a infrasound blasting callback, and that was so cool. Really, and I really want to go back to that area and research that area, because I looked up on Google Earth. There's some areas up there down by the river that have these super hard, big, giant sandbars, and I want to check them out and go down into that area. And it'll probably be
that's
next year.
I'm trying to remember the name of that river. The Nooksack.
Yeah, it's the Nooksack River. Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
it's beautiful up in there too. Just gorgeous, big waterfalls, and it's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, that place is crazy up there. There's so much activity. UFO, Bigfoot, and God knows what else going on up there. Yeah, that's awesome. Anyway, so you've got some other possible events coming up too, possibly. So that's good that you're trying to get things set up for an event here, possibly either in Bellevue or
Bothell or Redmond, or maybe even up north towards Marysville, I don't know, or Arlington. We haven't really dialed it in yet. So yeah, when that happens.
And that's an area where we need those sorts of things. There are, you know what I mean? That area is kind of vacant for those sorts of conventions, and there needs to be one.
Yeah, we need a conference right in that area, because this is where the hub is of everybody who's a hunter, fisherman, somebody who's interested in, Squatch and doing what you're doing, or even, my theory is to connect the two. We're going to try one. I want to try the whole UFO and the Sasquatch conferences tied together. So one day it'll be Squatch and the other day it'll be UFO stuff. Or we might have both on the same day, just break it up. But I don't know if that would work. I don't think it would. I think we should just.
I think there would end up being some brawls on stage.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's so true, because that stuff happens, and we need to make sure that we're all on the same page, and that we're helping each other and making it fun. My big thing is to engage with the audience and to have fun and keep it a learning experience and a fun experience is the most important thing, because I've learned that from working broadcast, and films and doing the hosting and stuff like that, is that we need to really support our speakers and our friends and the people who come, the attendees, all the attendees and people who are watching, like this show. We love your support, and we want you to do that and continue to do that to help us.
Absolutely. Craig, where can they find you? Where can they reach out to you?
You can reach me on my email at CAYAHNE@yahoo.com. And also you can go to Facebook or LinkedIn. I'm on either one at Craig, CRAIG, Yahne, YAHNE, and my email's there as well. And I do have a YouTube channel. They just go there, click on that, hit the subscribe button, and you can talk to me that way there. Facebook, I'm on there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Craig. I'm glad that you came on. I appreciate it, and we'll be talking soon, sir. Thank
And
you.
I just want to thank you, Lee, too. Thank you, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and Jackie. I appreciate all you guys. And Element One Fiend's a great show. Please tune in every time Lee's on here. And anytime you want me again, feel free to reach out. I'm there for you. And I just want to thank all you guys out there for watching Lee's show and chiming in to meet me and talk to me here. I appreciate that. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you. So, like I said, Jackie will be back on next week. Hey, we don't have ugly swag, people. We do not. Visit the Space Out Radio Store, all right? .com. And let me go over here and we'll get the outro going. See y'all next.